Welcome, everybody. This is Elaine Starling. I'm the host of Why 5% Succeed, the show where you hear from outstanding entrepreneurs and small business owners about the 4 different ways they're creating value for their clients. Because guess what? You start talking about the value you create for your clients, and that's when you start getting incredible value back, like money and helpful things like that. And I am so excited to have Runa Magnúsdóttir with me today. She is a fabulous lady, so insightful, so innovative in how she looks at your company, your unique distinctions. She calls it your X Factor. In fact, she's got a new book out called Branding Your X Factor. If you missed the interview that I did with Runa to ask her all about the book, we'll share that link in a little bit. But in the meantime, I want you to meet the real deal. It's hard to beat Runa. She's fabulous. Runa, welcome.
Thank you, Elaine. Oh, what a joy to be with you again. We had such a good time the last time, and I can't wait to hear what else can you ask me.
Well, see, the problem is I need days and days and days with you because you're so scalpel sharp is what I like to say. I was really impressed with our interview because you just cut right through into the heart of the matter. And as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, it's really easy to just kind of get overwhelmed about everything that's going on and struggle to see the meat and where to focus. And you're really good at helping people with that. So I'm very grateful that you could join us today on the show. And I'm going to start right away with the rewarding experience. I'd like you to really define for us what it is you're talking about when you say an X factor, and why is it really important for us to brand our X factor?
When I say what is your X factor, I am referring to who are you? What is it that makes you you? And I'm talking about you as a business owner, you as a person who is out there. I'm talking about you who want to shine, you who want to succeed, and what is it? How can you take what you already have? I'm not talking about anything except what you already have. How can you actually just take that, use it, and switch your mindset a little bit from the I'm not enough to hey, I'm okay. That's basically what I'm talking about with discovering and branding your X factor. And how you can use that, oh my God, in every single thing you do as a business owner, yeah, endlessly.
Well, you know, Runa, I know that looking deep within is really challenging to do. You're a little too close to your own stuff, right? You can't see the forest for the trees. So how would you make it really easy, engaging, and effective for your clients to dig deep and discover their own personal X factor? Could you share a technique that you use with us?
I use several techniques. I use several assessments with my clients, assessments where they get really honest feedback from their friends, their families, their co-workers, the people who have maybe been working with them on several projects. Basically, we call it a 360 reach brand assessment. And it's really cool thing because you get this, it's an anonymous assessment, so you get cool feedback from people who know you. And what is so interesting with this, I mean, I use this one as one of my tools, but with this one is so interesting because once you get the results, which is normally about maybe a report of 25 page report, you can see how does my friends and family see me, how do my co-workers see me, how does my boss, if you're in that level, how do people that I have been maybe in school with, how do they see me? So you can start to see, okay, am I the same one with all of them, or am I doing things differently depending on which role am I in? And can I share one quick story about that particular thing? Because we often think that we are just doing the same thing again and again. One of my clients who is a financial director in an insurance company here in Europe, he went through this whole thing. And it was so interesting when we were going through the report that we saw that his friends and families, they saw him as this funny, witty guy who always was cheerful and came in with things. But then when we looked at what his co-workers saw, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And as we were going through this, I'm like, this is like two people over here. So we started to talk about that. And we figured out, or he actually figured out, that for some reason, when he got that job, he had told himself that it was not appropriate for someone who was a financial director to show humor. So he was actually pulling himself back. So when we discussed this a little bit, what effect would it be for him and his co-workers if he actually did open up, did show what was just natural to him? He obviously saw very quickly that, hey, if he did that, that would actually mean that he would be giving his co-workers the opportunity to be themselves as well. He would be opening up for the company culture, changing that, being part of that in a positive way, and etc., etc. So he created an action plan, and which he was following up with me, and in literally short amount of time, he could feel himself, because just people were commenting on him, how relaxed he was, how much he was, how they liked talking to him. They were coming to his office for more than just this regular financial thing. And he felt really good about himself. So often these are blind spots that we are not even aware of, that we're hiding for some reason. And I mean, who wouldn't like a funny financial director apart from that?
I know, it's such a dichotomy, isn't it? That's great. I love that perspective, because one of the things that I teach in creating your rewarding experience, you've got to make it easy. Easy to understand, simple to do. You've got to make it engaging. And that means it's entertaining and informative. And of course, you need to make it effective. It's got to solve a real problem and help people get where they want to go. And so your advice, your counsel was right on strategy. Yeah, he had a lot of other things going on, but he needed to make it more engaging and allow people to play in the party. When you've got guests at the party, you got to give them room to maneuver, right?
Absolutely. And I think especially when it comes to our sense of humor, we often have told ourselves that that's not appropriate in the business world. Well, wow, I would like to be the person who has changed that. I think we need to laugh a little bit more, but for whatever reason. But you're right. Strategy, knowing what you want, feeling yourself, what the difference makes for yourself when you do it a little bit differently, and it just tap into what's naturally yours. You're not phony. You're just being very authentic.
Yeah, you talk a lot about the importance of being authentic in your book. And part of what I love about what you're doing is your X factor is that authentic piece of you. It's who you're being all the time, whether you know it or not. And so being able to really wrap your head around who that person is, you got to get a copy of Branding Your X Factor. I tell you, it's well worth it. It's a great read. I'm going to move on to the second category called relationships. So when it comes to relationships, how can branding your X factor actually improve your ability to generate high-value client relationships?
When it comes to relationship and the X factor, it is when you are naturally you start to engage with people in a different way, and you are giving them the opportunity to be themselves as well. And that will build very strong, solid relationships. It comes back to this authenticity. You know how it is, Elaine? It's really difficult. It really is difficult for us human beings to be crossed with anyone who is authentic. Don't you agree with me?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like
absolutely.
We might not agree with them, but we listen to them and we honor their points of view. And I think that when you know your own point of view and you know why it's important for you, I think you are immediately, or at least I see it, that it's more likely that you will start to listen more to others. And one of the core leadership skills for all leaders, wherever they are in their business world or just in their life, is to be able to listen really carefully to what other people are saying. So, and that will build very strong, solid relationships that will last.
That's so true. And it's one of the biggest challenges that people have, because so often the very first thought is, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
Right? And you have to shift that into what is their biggest concern and how can what I'm doing help solve their immediate concern. And that's one of the critical factors of building any relationship. And I love how you pull that thread through your entire book. Got to get a copy. It's really, really a must-read. Now, in a world where successful companies are really focused on an outstanding customer experience, how can entrepreneurs leverage their X factor appropriately? So you need to show up as your best self. But we were just talking about the natural tendency is what's in it for me, the entrepreneur, and you've got to make that shift into what's in it for them, the client. So how do you apply your X factor for your client?
When you know who you are and why you are doing what you're doing, when you're clear on that, you are showcasing that in everything that you do. How is that then mirroring to your clients? Here, I think, is something that I think many entrepreneurs are finding difficult. When you're building a brand that is really a strong brand is very clear on what will I do and what will I not do. And that's the thing that most of us are a little bit afraid of, because we are afraid of saying to someone, I don't serve you, when actually we do need the income, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you know that, okay, I'm here to do this, and I'm going to do that because I feel I'm passionate about this. I feel that people need my product or my services in this place, not just because I need the financial thing. That, of course, we need that. Don't forget that. But I'm doing it from a different place than just filling my Excel sheets. All right? And I'm doing that with my consistency of how I speak about my brand, how I speak about my product and services. And when I'm really clear on that, how I communicate that, people will either like me or they will dislike me.
That is very true.
Yeah. And that's what most of us are afraid of. I mean, I don't blame them. I don't blame anyone. I mean, who doesn't want to be liked? We all like to be liked and loved. But here is the thing. When we are really clear that this is what we do, we help people do this or that, and we're very clear on that, we will never help anything else or do anything else. This is just what we do. Then that's what people are going to come to us for. And they will not come for anything else.
That is such a brilliant insight, and I really want to reinforce that.
Turning it around.
Yeah, I want to reinforce that, because that was a really important point that you just made, Runa. You want great relationships, and you want to create more clients. But what your clients want most is clarity about who you really are and the value you really create, the difference you can make for that client. So the better you are at explaining your X factor and expressing your X factor, the better your client can sort you into, I absolutely need to work with that person. So thank you. That was a really, really great reframe on relationships and how important your X factor is. In fact, you know, your X factor really leads into the very next point, which is all about your reputation. Because frankly, you think you own your reputation, but you don't. It's your relationships who own your reputation. Your relationships are the ones telling everybody who you are for them. And how confusing is it if you're a little bit of everything, right? You have to have a solid X factor for them to communicate and say, oh, Runa, she's brilliant. She helps you nail your X factor, so your branding is really tight and tangible and titillating. That's great. It's great when you can have that level of clarity.
Absolutely. And since your brand is what other people are saying about you when you're not in the room, that is about your reputation. And that is about, again, goes to what I said before, when you're really clear on what it is that you're going to do, but what you're not going to do, and then your reputation is building on. And again, I mean, coming from this place of being authentic and just saying, hey, listen, I would love to be able to serve you, but I'm not the right person for this. I will guide you, because I have relationships. I will guide you to another brand that has what you need. Now, I think as a customer service, and I'm sure that many people on this call, they know about, as an example, the brand called Zappos. They are known for this. In fact, they train their staff to actually refer their clients to go somewhere else if they can't do what they are asked to do. So, and that builds trust, because people know if they go to Zappos, they know that that person is not going to be selling to them no matter what. They know that if they can't, they see, hey, we can't do this for you, but I know the one who can. And you will come back next time you need something, because you know this one is not going to lie to me.
Absolutely. Having that solutions focus is really, really powerful. When you're focused on the solution for your client, and it doesn't matter if you're a part of the solution or something else is, it's one of the reasons why it's great to share new tools and apps and things that are really making a difference in your business. In fact, Runa, I would love to find out from you, what is one of your favorite tools that you're using personally to promote your own X Factor? As you launch your book and really try to get the word out there about the book, what's one of those strategies or tools that you're using that you're finding really effective?
I will tell you, Elaine, don't tell anyone, okay?
Oh, of course not.
Okay. My tools are so simple. They are so simple. I simply ask myself, okay, I go to the relationship, what you just talked about before, and I think, okay, now whom do I know that my content, the things that I have could actually be of help, could actually serve them? And I contact them. And I know that there are people out there in my network, there are people who are connectors. And I consider myself to be one of those people. So throughout the years, I have been in this place of helping them. So I think, okay, now as I feel like I have a few brownie points somewhere, I go to them and say, listen, this is what I'm doing. How would you go about it if you were in my steps? And I get feedback from them instantly. And I get, hey, listen, this one is the right one that you should talk to. I mean, that's how you and I got together, right?
That's true.
Through relationship. It was through relationships. And so I use that quite a lot. I simply ask myself this one question. And you should actually just write that down, because this is the question that you can ask yourself for anything. And that is, okay, this is the thing that I have in front of me that I need or I want to do. Now, what is it that I have right in front of my tits that I can use today that can help me out discovering or figuring out this task or this problem? If I don't really want to talk about it as problems, just this project. How do I do that? And the minute I sit down, I sit back and I kind of like dwell on that question. Now, what is it that is right in front of me? Something that I don't really have to do a whole lot, but it's just effortless. And it always pops up, always pops up. And now today in the world that we're living in, when we're all connected, I mean, there you are in the US, I'm actually in Malta, and I'm not even in Iceland at the moment. I'm in Malta, and in this little cute place that I'm renting for a few weeks, and you can basically be doing business with people worldwide. It's so easy. So the world is our oyster really today, and we can just go ahead and do it, and it's not that difficult. I tell you one short story for my client actually on this task. A client of mine who is probably she's one of the best known comedian in the European community, and she is thinking about to move her directions a little bit more into a different area than comedian. And she was thinking, okay, she started to think, okay, I need to talk to all these universities, and she was coming up with a lot of people and tasks and projects that she wanted to reach out for her new assignment, for her new occupation. And I saw that what she was doing, she was making things really complicated. Here is someone who is phenomenally well known in the world wherever you perform. And when I simply asked her, who do you know in this industry who knows anyone in this industry? And of course she knew everyone. She didn't have to do cold callings all over the place. She didn't have to reconnect or build relationship with someone that she had never had any contact with. It was through one, maximum two connections that she would get exactly the right person that she needed to talk to, that she needed to actually talk about what she's doing and get advice from. I actually think when I think about it, I think it was only one that she needed to talk to, and boom, she got the right one. So instead of spending weeks or months and all of that trying to do it what we maybe think is the right way, or it's just too complicated. It's right there. It was right there in front of her tits.
Absolutely. And I love what you said, and you made it really simple. You actually already have everything you already need. Yeah. And all you need to do is pick up the phone or type an email to folks that you already have a relationship with. Yeah. And ask them the key questions. They'll open doors for you. Remember, they own your reputation. They know you better than you know you half the time, right? And they'll help make things happen for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you've done your job well and you've been authentic in the things that you're doing, they will do this instantly for you.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to move on to the fourth way that you create value for your clients, and that's through revenue. And I talk about revenue in three different ways. The first way, I'd like to find out from you, Runa, how does branding your X factor help you make more money?
Well, making more money by branding your X factor is simply you start to position yourself as the expert in your industry. You start to because we're talking about something that is you, that is uniquely you, your story and the whole thing that made you who you are today, and you're communicating that with confidence and clarity, then you can actually start to position yourself in the marketplace as the whatever you are. And simply by doing that, you have gained credibility that other people feel, hey, it's no-brainer to go to this one because she or he has exactly what I'm looking for.
That's great. That's great. Now, the second way that you provide revenue to your clients is you help them understand how to save more money by branding their X factor. It seems really obvious to me, but how do you think branding your X factor helps you save more money?
Can you imagine how much money you're spending by copying other people's X factors? And you can never actually fill them because you're not them. You are you. So you're spending a lot of money copycatting what other people are doing, which was something that they should have done. That is wasting your money.
Absolutely. And also the focus. You were talking about being authentic and being true to your best person and what value you can really bring to the situation. When you are focused in your delivery, we waste so much time and energy and effort and money chasing all these other things instead of focusing in. And what I love about branding your X factor is you're really walking people through a simple process to not only define their X factor, but then implement it. And both of those things are really, really key. So I'm kind of seeding the answer to the next question, which is, how does branding your X factor make you feel like $1,000,000?
Wow. Elaine, remember the time when you feel like you're in the flow of things and things are just as they're supposed to be? When you feel that you are just, you wake up in the morning and you feel that this day has a purpose, it has a mission, it has something that is so, it means so deeply to you. I mean, it just gives you that feeling that you feel good about your own skin, so to speak. You feel good about who you are, and you become more focused on the real task that you should be doing, instead of thinking about all the things that other people might say when you might do, but you're not really sure why you're so insecure about what other people are saying. You know, it's just foggy. So it's, instead of being foggy, you get clarity. And that's why, and I know you know plenty of people out there, and who you see that are going shook to a destination, and you're like watching them going, yeah, I want to be part of this one. What's so going over there? And that's the thing. When maybe the majority of us are just foggy, and we're always waiting. Well, is this okay, or whom do I have to ask, or my favorite is, don't I need a PhD in this as well? When you can actually just go ahead and have a mission, have clarity on that, but enjoying the road to your destination.
Because there was one resource that I wanted to mention, and if you're not familiar with a book called Strength Finder 2.0, you should pick up a copy. One of the things that I love about this book, you need to get an original issue, one that hasn't been used, not a used one, because in the back of the book is a unique code. And you go online to their website, you have to use your unique code, and then you go through a survey. And you have to say, I'm more like this trait or more like that trait. And they're both really good things. You want to be like both of them. But you have to say, I'm a little more like this or I'm a little more like that. And it's timed. So you can't take forever to do it. You have to just kind of quick go through it. And at the end, you get a report back that says what your 5 dominant traits are, which is really interesting, your 5 strengths. Very interesting. But the thing that I love most about Strength Finder is actually in the description at the beginning, before they even get into describing what the different strengths are, how valuable they are, what situations are best for you given the strengths that you have. In the very introduction, they did a whole survey about different managers. They wanted to understand what kind of management style tends to create someone who is very disenfranchised. An employee who's disenfranchised is grumbling all the time. They're whining and moaning and complaining. They're distracting everybody around them. They're very ineffective, and they cost the company a lot of money. So what is causing that? And they found out that the managers who were completely absent, who just totally ignored the employees, were the biggest offenders. You actually had better employees if the manager was kind of abusive and would always talk about what was wrong with you and the problems that you're having and all that kind of stuff. That was better than being ignored, believe it or not. But the best, the absolute best managers are the ones who focus on your strengths. They focus on what you do really, really, really well. And the thing that struck me is, as I read that, there's a manager that lives with you 24/7, 365, and they sit between your right ear and your left ear. You're born with this manager. What is she saying to you every day? Is she focused on your strengths? I hope so. And if you're not sure what they are, by all means, use Strength Finder 2.0 and get a copy of Branding Your X Factor, because Runa will walk you through exactly how to figure out what your X Factor is and how to apply it. Runa, I don't know if you heard my little blurb there, but is there anything else? Yes. I was talking about strengths and Strength Finder 2.0 and the fact that you have your own manager that lives with you. It sits between your right ear and your left ear. And what are you saying to yourself? If you're focused on your X factor and the value that you bring to the marketplace, you can get yourself really up and excited and confident and poised and ready to be there for the other person instead of constantly going, but what's in it for me? But I'm not good enough, but I can't, I couldn't. Get out of your own way. Focus on your X factor.
Yeah, you're right. And if it's about focusing on me, then what is it that I really truly want to give, and what does that give me back? So if you want to go into the me, which I think probably most of us actually do go in there, but I mean, one of the main reasons why I love to give joy is because it gives me joy. Seeing other people smile because of something that I do, it just fills me up. So it is about me in that sense. But knowing that it's important for me is maybe, yeah. Do you get what I mean there?
I totally get what you mean. In fact, science has proven it. We have something called mirror neurons that are right behind your eyebrows. And mirror neurons, every time you see someone, your body actually takes on the characteristics of that other person, and you take on their emotions as well. That's why emotions are contagious. That's why you want to surround yourself with really uplifting and exciting and engaging people, because they will bring you up, literally bring you up. So that mirroring is so incredibly important. So when you can show up with your X factor completely intact and totally knowing where you're going with this and how you're going to serve people, you can show up as your highest authentic self and really rock your business. Runa, fabulous conversation today. I'm so glad we were able to get you to take a little break from your vacation and join us.
Well, the pleasure is mine. Absolutely it is. And I simply want to thank you, Elaine, for actually giving me the opportunity.
Thank you for being here with us. And I hope that you're able to join us next week. It'll be again Wednesday at 1 o'clock Pacific time. I'll see you there. Bye-bye.